I caught my girlfriend in my bed with the guy she's cheating on me with. Trying to move on after discovering your partner led a secret life? That's the dilemma we face in our stories today on Our Space. Although it often leads to the end of a painful chapter, it is just the beginning of self-discovery. We're going on an adventure. Up first, revenge never tasted so sweet.
Sweet revenge of my girlfriend cheating on me. My girlfriend of 2 years has been cheating on me for approximately 4 months. What should I do? First of all, don't pick on me for my English. I may have many grammatical errors as I am not a native English. So me, 24 male, and my girlfriend, 23 female, have been dating for 2 years. We met at a common friends party and we instantly clicked. And lives have been good. We are financially stable and we are living in my apartment that my father gifted me when I graduated, as he got it from his father, and since we already had a house, this was empty, so he gave it to me. I love my girlfriend, like she is the most important person in my life. And as I don't have many friends with whom I can open up, she is the one who always supports me emotionally. But for her work reason, she had to move out to a different state for 2 months, and we talked every day on the phone, and I even planned a surprise for her, like a whole day date. But when she came back and I discussed with her that I have a surprise for you tomorrow and all, she didn't react the way I imagined. She declined and said she just wants to be alone. Normally, she never declines for a surprise or anything like that. But alright, I understand. She might be tired. So I asked, we'll shift the date to any other day. She doesn't reply, and I felt this behavior quite odd. Since that day, I started feeling that she is trying to distance herself from me. But then a month passes, and she says, let's plan a vacation. I'll keep it short. I agree. And we plan things, and we go to her selected location. We enjoyed ourselves and all. But during the vacation, she went to her friend's house alone. I didn't know her friend lives there or whatsoever, and she even refused to let me come with her. After we come back, she again goes to the same phase. Now, after 2 months of our vacation, I found out why she has been behaving like this. So it goes like this. I was in the bedroom, my girlfriend was in the shower, and my girlfriend's phone beeped, and I saw the text that shattered my heart. The text was like, "Hey, beautiful. Did he go to sleep?" I was like, what the F? Then I started reading the chats, and I find that she has been cheating on me with a guy she met on her work trip. And there was also a photo of them on our vacation place. And they were talking about doing the deed and how they loved it and managed to pull it off without me knowing. I am done. I don't know what to do with my life. The only person whom I trusted had betrayed me. I don't know what to do anymore. It's the night I found that she's cheating, and I haven't talked about it with her. I don't know what I should tell her and how to take things further. Should I talk to her to leave the guy and make things work? If not, then how should I proceed? And also suggest some ways so that I can get over this grief.
OP, I'm so sorry you had someone betray your trust like this. It's never okay. I would say that you should always feel comfortable and safe to express how you feel and be transparent with the people you love. You have every right to confront your girlfriend on the choices that she's made, which inevitably led to her infidelity. Her choices hold consequences for the both of you. The future you envision for the both of you doesn't exist anymore because of the decisions she's made. The journey to get past infidelity within a relationship isn't easy. It's hard and it takes a lot of patience, honesty, and trust building. If you're up for the journey, it's worth asking her if it is what she wants as well. That being said, it's never worth being with someone who disrespects you or doesn't see your value. Everyone deserves to be happy and respected. Don't ever settle for less than what you deserve. What would you do in this situation? Would you confront your partner? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Update. Sweet revenge. So it has been 5 or 6 days since I posted about how my girlfriend of 2 years cheated on me and also manipulated me to go on a vacation to a place where she can hook up with her cheating partner. So I left the home that night I posted the story to get away with the emotions and told her that I'm going to my friend's house. I wasn't able to sleep all night and was reading the comments, and people were saying that I should leave her as she is using me, and there were a few comments like I should get some type of revenge. I don't want to take any revenge as I still love her, even though she did all this to me. I am not mad at her. I don't even know how to put it. So I went to my parents' home and talked to my mother. I know. You guys will be thinking who talks about all this with their mother. But I don't have anyone to talk to about this thing. As I said, usually I talk with my girlfriend about all of this, so I went and talked to her. She was devastated and said I thought this girl would be perfect for me and she was looking forward to our marriage. She then said, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." That night, I thought about this and decided that I'll go on and leave her for good, and I'll go to a nice vacation or do something like that. So I went back to my house And there's a catch, you won't believe what I did. I saw it. Didn't even took her a night to call her partner to my house and cheat on me. I didn't want to take any sort of revenge at first, but the scenery of her lying in bed with another man and the opportunity gave me a perfect idea. I took their photos while they were deep asleep. Of course, they were both covered. I'm not that kind of person. Then I went back as I wanted to get some time before confronting her. Later that day, I called that guy anonymously to a cafe and also took my girlfriend to the same cafe. You wish you could see the looks on her face. Also, I want to let you know that I took screenshots of their chats. Now comes step 2 of my plan. Getting all the information about the guy's background. I know it may not be right, but yeah, my one friend that I met online is good with tech stuff, so he managed to collect all his background data, and look what I found. He has a wife and 2 kids. The story gets even crazier. I called his wife and explained her everything, and also told her about my plan, and she was sad, but she was willing to crack his nuts. Step 3. Now I have all the information to bring her and that guy down. Now I send the guy all the photos anonymously, and boy, he was scared. Step 4. Breaking them up. So I said that I'll destroy his life if he doesn't leave my girlfriend. I may be cruel for doing that, but he did much worse things to me. And he actually breaks up with my girlfriend as I listen to her crying inside the bathroom. She didn't cry for me, huh? Then I send the proofs in our friends and her family group. Final part. After she woke up the next day, her bag was ready, and I said, "Get out of my house or I'm calling the police." She was shocked and asked why I showed her all the proofs, and she begged me to let her stay. I said in a very polite tone, "Get out of my house." And then I sent a text to the guy's wife to show him the divorce paper, and as my girlfriend was leaving, her phone got flooded with messages. Guess who it was from? I gave her notice due to tenants' rights, but she left ASAP, and she got messages from that guy, so all is good. The court hearing will take a time, but we will make the guy pay child support and fine for emotional damage, and I would help the lady. I don't feel good for breaking the life of a couple, but I don't think she deserved that man. She's a great person, and even if the guy broke up with my girlfriend due to me, he would definitely date someone else, and I don't feel good about all the things I did for my revenge. And also, she got hate from her friends and family. I kind of feel sad, but it wouldn't have happened if she didn't make him come over that night I left. You can hate me, but I did what I thought, and of course, I saved one life, and also, I would help the lady every way I could, and also help the kids, as they are relatively small. Also, anybody would have done the same or similar things if they would have been in my place. Also, thank you for making me feel good and convincing me to get out of this toxic relationship. Though it would have taken time for me to get over her, but surely I would.
OP, I think he did the right thing by telling his wife. Sooner or later, things catch up to people. At the end of the day, we have to live with the decisions we make. If you feel good about yourself and seeking revenge, then that's on you. What she did was wrong. Betrayal hurts. It kills. It'll take time for you to get over this. I would say that now is a tremendous opportunity to practice self-love and healing. Learn things about yourself. Try new things. Put yourself out there. Slowly learn how to be vulnerable again. You'll learn so much about yourself in the healing process.
Our first reaction from the community comes from Salvador M1. Peace was never an option. Abbreviations old 5833 adds, revenge is always personal. Justice isn't. What you did wasn't petty. You just didn't let them get away, which they deserved. Next up, Ill-Tempered 1978 says, you are supposed to tell his wife. That's the right thing to do. You need to search revenge breakup. This is nothing. Our next thought comes from Muzin Simp 2. You are the best. You are not being hated here, bro. You bring justice to that man's wife and his children to live a normal life without her cheating father. And you set your life free of that witch. Man, you deserve a celebration. Reddy6354 has one more comment before we move on. The way I see it, bro, the only time, in my book, for an apology would have been if you would have let her stay, and if you would not have informed his wife. I hope she and her kids will not be devastated by that piece of crap. Good going, bro, to cut that line and let that ship sail into the hurricane with no apologies needed. The OP replies real quick. I do feel bad, but I think that the lady and her kids don't deserve to be with a man like him.
Next up on the chopping block, a sociopath wanting his cake and eating it too.
Staff Sergeant BS lied to me for 5 months while he had been cheating on his wife. I had been with this person for 5 months while they were deployed in my country, working as part of the CAT at the embassy. It started out as meeting at a coffee shop, which was followed by a walk and eventually watching stand-up at his place while we shared beers. Needless to say, the first time we met went very, very well, especially because he didn't try to make a move at me. We only kissed. He would later on tell me that he didn't want to be sleazy and treat me like a one-night stand because he had really liked me and didn't want to ruin anything potential by having sex on the first day we met. A bit of background information on this guy. From what he had told me, he was 32, from North Carolina, and lived with his dog, joined the Army, but then took 3 years off to finish college from Ohio State University, rejoined the Army, had been in Iraq, Afghanistan, etc., before he switched to civil affairs, after which he had been deployed to a few countries in Asia. His last relationship was 3 years ago when he had been in Singapore with his Indian woman named Lakshmi, but it ended because she didn't want to move to the US. He said that really had an effect on him, and so he stopped trying to pursue anything serious, especially due to the nature of his job. This is all relevant to what I later found out and my assumptions based on what I found out about him. So our coffee date turned into something more regular. We would meet and hang out. There were obvious sparks between us. Mornings starting with good morning texts, and nights ending with speaking to each other. We would be spending weekends together, which turned into sleepovers with wine, movies, candlelit pillow talks, and all the cheesy, dreamy, romantic things that you do when you're newly in love. Pretty soon, he was asking me to spend Thanksgiving, Christmas, this party, that club, this person's going away party, and whatnots, that their team, college's social circle was hosting, and we started to show up as a couple. He would invite me as his girlfriend and introduce me to people as such. This is also relevant to the story because I'm sure at least his teammates would have known that this bastard was married. I honestly cannot believe how a person can fake so much of themselves just for some good lay because of how he had been with me. Had I not known that this person was so full of crap, I would have said that this was the best of all the guys I have been with and dated. He was sweet, caring, funny, attractive, fun to hang around with, and we had the most amazing sex ever. How could I have ever known what evil schemes he had been hiding from me and how he was using me? He would surprise me at work with coffee, pick me up from work, and we would go back to his place and have dinner together, and then he would drop me off back home, almost routinely. When I was looking for a new job, he insisted on picking up and driving me to the interviews, be my cheerleader, comfort me whenever I was down, and tell me how much he loved me. That's how sweet he was. This person would hold my hand while driving, support my sleeping, lolling body with his free hand while he drove with the other hand, bring me my favorite green tea drink when he came to pick me up because I once said that this is my new favorite drink. He would be hugging me and kiss my shoulder, forehead and cheeks when I'd be asleep with my head resting on his chest, take care of me when I got too tipsy. I had accidentally gotten my period one time I was staying over at his place, and to comfort the very embarrassed mess I was, he ran a hot shower for me and got in the shower with me to comfort me. That's the guy I had known him to be, and I had really started to fall for this person. For Christmas, he got me a chain with the coordinates of the first place we met, wrote me dizzying, romantic, heartfelt long texts and love letters often. The few times one of us had been out of town for a few days, it was always restless and filled with conversations of how much we missed each other, even emotional breakdowns from talking about how much more difficult it would be when he had to go back, which often ended with both of us crying or sobbing. Apparently, his family got to know about it because his brother let it slip to his mom and dad, and he would show me texts of his conversation with his parents where they'd be talking about how things were going with us and all. I figured out later that he was using his local phone and his US phone to basically write a whole dang story. He would playfully talk about mixed babies and life together, and he started to tell me about possibilities of moving to the US. I'm just going to say from now on when you come, not if, because I really want this to manifest. And tell me about the possibilities of me moving to the US with a fiancé, spouse, visa, because that would be easier for me. He would always say, I know it's very unfair for me to ask this of you, because you would have to come here with me leaving everything familiar, but I will support you in whatever way I can and to make this work. Note that I never asked to move anywhere with him. And I always expressly said that I'm happy loving every moment in the present, and regardless of what the future held, I would cherish my time with him no matter what happened between us. I didn't think things would take such a turn from a coffee date, and I had no expectation. From where I am and my whole situation, I never really had any plans of moving to the US because I simply couldn't afford to make it happen, and what I studied would make it very difficult for me to find a job there, so there had been ulterior motives on my part. I just really liked this guy and liked being with him with no expectation. As things got more serious, I did want it to become more permanent and let things take its natural course, and was looking for ways on what I could do to be together. I was not simply going to be dependent on someone and change countries on a whim. I'm stupid, but not that stupid. Anyway, fast forward a few months, I get an email from a certain someone saying they saw some Google Hangout chats between me and her husband, and was asking me how I knew him, who I was. I did something I shouldn't have at that moment because the sheer shock of it had left me incapable of thinking clearly. I did the worst thing I could have done at that moment. I showed a screenshot of the email and sent it to him, asking him to explain who that person was and why he had been lying to me. One thing led to another, and after a lot of angry sobbing, crying, questioning, and accusing, he said he was hacked and was running all his devices with the RSO to sort crap out. All BS. And skipping work to come and meet me. He apologized and cried, and with a shaky voice and trembling hands, reassured me over and over again how this wasn't true and what he could do to prove that it was all a lie. So I had asked him to show me his passport, his visa paperwork, and his pay slips. He agreed, and would later on show me the paperwork which showed that he was a single with no dependents, fake documents with his name on them. However, he couldn't show me his passport because apparently all their passports with other stuff were kept in a locker, and he would have to get it from his team leader, basically stalling me. While all this was going on, I also replied to the email and waited for them to respond. I was helplessly looking for answers, the truth, and wanting it to all be a lie. Desperately wanting to believe everything this person had fed me for all this time. I couldn't believe that anyone would cheat to this extent, especially a person of his position, and with everything he said to me and did to me. He had told me that he didn't have any social media. He deleted it all after the whole Trump election thing, but of course it had been a lie, and I had to check. I did look him up out of curiosity before all this started to unravel, but after the email, I searched again with friends' accounts, and of course, he had blocked me. This lying, cheating, narcissist son of a witch had lied about so much to me. He was indeed married since 2008 to his high school sweetheart. 38-year-old father to 2 beautiful kids. They had triplets, but one passed away soon after birth. I found his wedding event, maternity shoot, holiday photos, his wife and kids and everything, and what I was feeling at that moment can only be described as a living nightmare. All of a sudden, every moment I had spent with this creepy psychopath, who had basically been grooming me and manipulating me, seemed like something straight out of a nightmare. I felt like I was being exploited and raped because I had known all of this. Would I be willingly having sex with this person? Exposing all my vulnerabilities to him so that he can exploit those to manipulate me? I felt exploited physically and mentally, and emotionally, and what I felt at that time, I don't wish anyone to ever go through that. I had told this bastard about my depression and suicidal past, and he took advantage of that to manipulate me. God knows in how many ways he has been manipulating me and deceiving his wife, and how many women he played like this. I, of course, confronted the gutless psycho, recorded the whole confrontation, and sent it along with photos of us being cute and crap to his wife. To put things into perspective, when I showed him photos of his dead kid, he said those kids weren't his. The wedding photos weren't his, and that woman is just an ex with kids with a deadbeat dad that he so willingly raised while they were together. I haven't lost respect like this for anyone in a long time, and it makes me wonder about the kind of nasty things that goes on in the army. Are they all like this? All of his coworkers knew me, and they had to know he was married. He would tell me about his friend who had triplets, and how she was in a bad marriage. Her chemistry died with the husband because the sex wasn't good. I have obviously blocked the psycho out from everywhere and cut off all ties. I'm still trying to process what happened to me in these past few months, and seeing a therapist. How could a person lie so much just for some good lay? How would the wife be feeling if she really knows? How can someone screw their decade-long marriage like this? After all I had said to him, and bearing myself and loving him, how could he still deceive me like this? How could I ever trust anyone again? Any relationship, a marriage, any man? I know it's completely wrong, but every time I see any army person or vet, I reflexively recoil with disgust because they all seem like scheming, conniving cunts to me. How do I stop myself from missing the godless cunt who ruined commitments for me? We talked so much about wives, husbands who had been cheated on, but as the other woman or side chick, especially when we don't know that's what we are, it is much more difficult to find forums or spaces where their grieves are also discussed, shared, and understood.
OP, I am so sorry that you had to experience this, especially given your past. It definitely sounds like what you dealt with was a sociopath. Sociopaths are social predators who live their lives by exploiting others. Essentially, the sociopaths are looking for supply, and the more sources of supply they have, the better. They love promiscuity and the thrill of the game. Moreover, when the person closest to you is also the one who hurts you, you experience betrayal trauma. Getting into another relationship before you've healed may provide temporary comfort, but it won't solve your problems. If you continue to doubt that an intimate relationship can be a safe harbor, you will either do things to keep partners at a distance or seek excessive reassurance that may drive partners away. Learning trauma resiliency skills will help you bounce back from the attachment wounds. This means that you will develop strategies to calm an overactive nervous system so that you can relate to future partners in healthy ways. Building trauma resiliency takes time, but is a necessary step towards having the kind of relationship you deserve. Have you ever been burned by someone living a double life? Or have you ever met someone living a double life? We want to hear about it in the comments below.
I am sorry for the extremely long post, but venting it out was momentarily therapeutic for me.